Mechanical Equipment by Ryan Richardson and Joe Floyd. Section A1. Visual inspections shall be made of the equipment to determine that it is in good condition each day the equipment is to be used. Here is a broken track on a dozer. This is just one of the many things to look for on a construction site while inspecting the equipment every day. Section A2. Tests shall be made at the beginning of each shift during which the equipment is to be used to determine that the brakes and operating systems are in proper working order. Here is a picture of a busted brake line that was found while performing one of the shift change tests. This is just one of the great examples of why these tests are necessary to ensure the safety of the job site. Section A3. No employer shall use any motor vehicle equipment having an obstructed view to the rear unless these requirements are met. The employer must meet one of two requirements. The first requirement is Section A3.1. The vehicle has a reverse signal alarm audible over the surrounding noise level, or it must meet the second requirement. The second requirement is found in Section A3.2. The vehicle is backed up only when an observer signals that it is safe to do so. Section B covers aerial lifts. Section B1 states that the provisions of 1926.556 subpart N of this part shall apply to the utilization of aerial lifts. Section B2 states, when working near energized lines or equipment, aerial lift trucks shall be grounded or barricaded and considered as energized equipment, or the aerial lift trucks shall be insulated for the work being performed. Here's an example of one of the types of warning signs that would be placed at the bottom of a piece of equipment, such as this bucket truck, that would be considered to be electrically charged. Section B3. Equipment or material shall not be passed between a pole or structure and an aerial lift while an employee working from the basket is within reaching distance of energized conductors or equipment that are not covered with insulating protective equipment. Section C covers cranes and other lifting equipment. Section C1. All equipment shall comply with subparts C, C, and O of this part as applicable. Section C2. Digger derricks used for augering holes for poles, carrying electric lines, placing and removing poles, or for hauling associated materials to be installed or removed from poles must comply with 29 CFR 1910.269. Here's an example of a piece of equipment in a situation in which it must comply with these codes. Section C3. With the exception of equipment certified for work on the proper voltage, mechanical equipment shall not be operated closer to any energized line or equipment than the clearances set forth in subsection 1926.950C, unless in addition to the requirements in subsection 1926.1410. Section C3.1. The mechanical equipment is insulated, or Section C3.2. The mechanical equipment is considered as energized. Section A. The employer must comply with all manufacturer procedures applicable to the operational functions of equipment, including its use with attachments. Section E covers leaving the equipment unattended. Section E1. The operator must not leave the controls while the load is suspended, except where all of the following are met. Section E11. The operator remains adjacent to the equipment and is not engaged in any other duties. Section E12. The load is to be held suspended for a period of time exceeding normal lifting operations. Section E13. The competent person determines that it is safe to do so and implements measures necessary to restrain the boom hoist and telescoping load, swing, and outrigger or stabilizer functions. Section E14. Barricades or caution lines and notices are erected to prevent all employees from entering the fall zone. No employees, including those listed in subsection 1926.1425B1 through 3, subsection 1926.1425D, or subsection 1926.1425E, are permitted in the fall zone. Here's an example of a load that is to be suspended over an extended period of time. As you can see, the site has been properly marked and barricaded to ensure that no employees enter the fall zone. Section E2. The provisions in subsection 1926.1417E1 do not apply to working gear such as slings, spreader bars, ladders, and welding machines, where the weight of the working gear is negligible relative to the lifting capacity of the equipment as positioned, and the working gear suspended over the area other than an entrance or exit.